Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about the death of Biggie Smalls on March 9th, 1997, and what this could do for Dungeons & Dragons if we understand the death of Biggie Smalls, and we understand how Biggie Smalls actually used his death. What does that mean for Dungeons & Dragons? What takeaway could we take away for Dungeons & Dragons? A specific change for the 2023 Player's Handbook that could really change Dungeons & Dragons in a fundamentally awesome way that is inspired by the death of Biggie Smalls. All right, so let's get into this. So first of all, the reason we would be doing this is, in my humble opinion, Biggie Smalls was, and I think other Americans have done this, but I think it's been incredibly rare, and I think the execution, no pun intended, that Biggie Smalls did to position his death to be the most useful object of his life and accomplish this incredibly powerful goal. I think Biggie Smalls made a series of choices to make sure that on March 9th, 1997, he died. And that his death would accomplish a very specific goal, which is make rap forever. So, and by forever I mean rap would last as long as the United States of America. And I think that is the case, right? So I think as long as the red, white, and blue fly over American soil, and and bald eagles fly over every state in this America with apple pie in their mouths, rap will remain because of what Biggie Smalls accomplished, right? With his death, right? And I'm not saying his music was incredibly important, right? But his death made sure that his music will be forever and will never be forgotten, right? And I think there are more talented artists who are going to live much longer lives whose music will not have the same impact, right? So essentially, if we look at Biggie Smalls' life and we see that, in my humble opinion, he very distinctly used his death to accomplish a goal, which was to make rap forever, right? To solidify it as an element of Americana and as one of the most, and to send it to global and to make American rap global, right? A global phenomenon, which he 100% accomplished. Where you land is you see that there's a value in using your death for something significant if you choose to do that, and if you take a series of choices, right, and sequence those choices to accomplish a goal with your death. And I think that's exactly what Biggie Smalls did. I think he accomplished this amazing goal after being on this planet for 24 years. He died at 24, and he did what he wanted to do, right? And it's just incredible. All right, so once we understand Biggie Smalls' death, how do we use that in Dungeons & Dragons? Well, what I would do is, one, I would call it hero mode. Why are you not going to call it Biggie mode? Because you actually want to put this in the, I think this should be the main thrust of the 2023 playtest. This is what should land in the 2023 playtest and should be the biggest change that we get out of the 2023 Player's Handbook. Okay. All right. So hero mode, right? And if you called it Biggie mode, you could put it in the book, right? It's for a host of reasons. But if you call it hero mode, you can, right? Inspired by Biggie, but only the cool people have to know that. All right. So here's what you would do. Okay. So essentially, hero mode would be, here's the criteria. Have to be a player character. Have to be of neutral or good alignment. Now, why neutral or good alignment? Because of Biggie. Biggie was neutral. He definitely was not good. There are no two ways about that. Just listen to his first album, Ready to Die, and you will see Biggie was neutral. He was not good. Okay, he was not good aligned, right? So to honor Biggie, neutral or good alignment. Okay. All right, and I think and that, why good? Because everybody who loved him was good, I think. Yeah, and his mother was definitely in good alignment, played by Angela Bassett in the fantastic 2009 film Notorious. All right, okay, so basically, what would hero mode be? So first of all, it would be available to all player characters. And actually, where would it attach? It would actually be an alignment power. Okay, so this ability would be non-magical, and you would get it when you took any alignment that was new, any of the neutral alignments or any of the good alignments, okay? And what would the ability be? All right, so here goes. You can choose to activate hero mode whenever you want, as often as you want, okay? Here's what happens when you activate it, okay? Immediately, your hit points are no longer your hit points. Your hit points are equal to your constitution score, right? So not your constitution bonus, your constitution score, right? So at max, you would have people with 20, maybe as high as 25 hit points, right? Most people would have 12 to 18 hit points, okay? And so one, your hit points would immediately be replaced by your constitution score, and then any damage that was done to you would come out of your constitution score immediately. Now here's what happens. When your constitution score is reduced to 0, you die, and you do not have a death save because in hero mode your death save is forfeit. You forfeit your death save. Now, why would you do this? Why would you take on this incredibly risky state? Here's what you get. Every ability check, you roll with advantage, all right? You do not roll damage, and you do not roll effect dice, right? Whenever there's, if you hit and then you have to roll for your, for your damage or any kind of effect, it's simply maximum. So you do maximum damage. You don't roll damage, you just do maximum damage. Or you do maximum effect. And get this, here's where the kicker is. You no longer are hit by any attack, whether it be spell, melee, or ranged, unless it's a crit. The DM has to crit to hit you. That's what you get for hero mode, right? And you could turn this on as often as you want, right? Like you could run it, actually I should say this. You could turn it on every encounter. You can activate it every encounter. There's no cost to it. There's no cost like beyond the effects that I just said, right? And you can do it as many times a day. You ain't got to wait for another short rest or another long rest or any of that nonsense. You could do this as often as you want, right? And you get these incredible effects. So every ability check rolls with advantage. All effect rolls, including damage, max. No roll. You just get the max, okay? And then you are only hit by any attack when you are hit with a crit roll. Natural D20 rolled in the open by every DM. And yes, the DM cannot roll in secret. Part of the rules, right, for hero mode. So that is hero mode. That would allow player characters to do exactly what Biggie did, to have huge victories, right? But then essentially to say, this is pretty much say, whenever you're activating, you're saying, hey, this is a good day to die, right? For your player character. So I think this is a perfect rules mechanic inspired by Biggie Smalls' Notorious B.I.G.'s death. And I think this should be the main thrust, the main change, not the only change, but the main change to come with the 2023 Player's Handbook. All that is my humble opinion. I'm ready to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below, please, or respond in a video. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.